When your whole day, week, year, every moment of your life revolves around your exercise schedule, when you're next going to be able to exercise, it can create so much anxiety in your life. It's a constant obsessive thought. I used to sleep and have nightmares. When else are you going to have nightmares, Jax? I used to have them while staying awake. No. I used to have nightmares that I would miss my alarm and I wouldn't be able to exercise, or that I'd have to cancel an event or something because I would have to make the time to exercise. Everything revolved around exercise. It was my top priority, and especially in eating disorders. So in this video, I'm explaining to you how I actually break the habit of exercising every single day. So my exercise addiction started long before my eating disorder actually did. So it must have been about 19 years or so of exercising every single day. And it was like, regardless of how I felt, how sick I was, when I fractured my hip, I was like, I'm still going to find a way to do an upper body circuit. It controlled me. Every single thought that I had, it was this obsession about when I was next going to be able to exercise, what would happen to my body if I stopped exercising. Because, especially when you have an eating disorder, you stop trusting your body. You're just like, if I eat this, it's going to balloon. If I stop exercising, I'm going to lose control. And a big thing I was scared of was that I would lose this discipline. I was like, I'm known as the fit, healthy girl, and I'm going to lose this discipline that I have to work out every single day. And it seems right now in quarantine, every single person with an Instagram account, a Snapchat account, a TikTok account, every single human being is on an exercise regime. But that doesn't mean you need to be too. So guys, if you're lonely, if you're stuck, if you are so tired of feeling this need to exercise or move, and you need a friend with you on your journey, then hit that subscribe button down below. I'm sharing with you things that have helped for me. I remember saying not too long ago that I would be okay working through fear foods, but I was never okay stopping exercise. I was always saying that it was my coping mechanism. It was how I dealt with anxiety. It was how I felt calm and relief during the day. When again, it's the total opposite. You think it's what's calming you, but it's actually what's fueling your anxiety. And like I said, if you told me not too long ago that I would stop exercising, I'd say to you, I don't think so. I think you're a few nutter on something. I don't know why I always end up going and resorting to that voice. I don't know. So I wouldn't have come as far as I have in my recovery, not just from my eating disorder, but my exercise addiction, but my isolation, my need to withdraw from everyone. I wouldn't have come out as far as I have if it hadn't been for the support of the team around me. And I know a lot of you guys don't have that support, or maybe the support that you do have, it's people that don't understand what you're going through, which is why I want to be there for you guys, because everyone deserves that level of freedom. Everyone deserves to not be controlled by these compulsions, these addictions, these things fueling the anxiety. At the end of the day, it is an addiction. Okay, so in the beginning of my recovery process, I said to my dietitian and my therapist, I will do everything you want me to do. I will slowly add in fear foods. I will do whatever. I will gain as much weight as you tell me to gain, but I will not stop exercise. That was just an absolute no-go. And then I would always justify, and you guys probably do too, why you should exercise. I'd say it's a healthy habit. It's strengthening my muscles. It's strengthening my bones. Because those of you who don't know, I do have osteoporosis from not having my period for 15 years. And so I would always make these excuses and justify why I had to exercise. But when I would go on vacations, if we would fly at like 4 a.m, I would make sure that I woke up at 2 or 1 a.m. It was just this, every single thing I did would revolve around the exercise. And I wouldn't go on vacations if I knew that there wasn't a gym close by. Like when I hurt my knees and I couldn't run anymore, I was like, okay, I need to make sure that there's a gym, there's a stationary bicycle, or I would have my resistance bands with me. It was just, I couldn't think of anything else. And yes, I did miss out on a lot of vacations, which again, I regret today. When you come out of that obsessive haze and you think of what you've missed out on, what price you were paying. Sometimes right now, when we're in the midst of that anxiety loop, we don't know what price we're paying for the lifestyle that we're living. So I'm going to ask you guys now, before I go any further, what moments have you missed out on? Let me know in the comment section down below, or just think about it or talk about it. What moments have you missed out on or not truly been present at? So for example, if you were at a friend's party or dinner, were you obsessing about getting home earlier so that you could wake up early in the morning to exercise? Or did you put off events? Did you put off meetings or vacations with friends and family? You've got to be very aware of what it's done to you and what price you've paid to get that motivation and to get that fuel to actually get out of that whole unhealthy habit loop. we're calling it habit loop because I just read The Power of Habit and I love his terminology. So like I said before, exercise is purging calories. It's a way just to keep your body in that specific state of purging. But what does it actually do? So sometimes it helps if you know why you have to do something to actually do it. For example, if you just told me to jump off a cliff, I'd be like, absolutely not. If you told me, Jax, jump off a cliff because you'll safely land in the water, it'll be an adrenaline rush and it will be a memory you'll have for the rest of your life, I'll be like, okay, I'll jump off the cliff. But so if I'm asking you to jump off a cliff, which your cliff and my cliff was always not doing exercise, if I explain to you why and how and what's at the net at the bottom of the jump, maybe it's going to be a bit easier. So when you do exercise, what happens is it stresses your body, your muscles, your joints, everything. It's just your muscles are ripping. That can be good for a healthy body. But it does produce cortisol. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone. What does the stress hormone do? Glad you asked. No one actually probably asked. But it stops you getting your period. It suppresses your hormones. Your body goes in this fight or flight safety mode. It's why you'll notice why a lot of people do stop their period, but maybe they're at a healthier body weight or a higher body weight and they're wondering why they're still not getting their period. It's the cortisol, my little biscuits and gadgets. No matter what healthy weight you think you are, no matter if you're at your set point or not, you will not get your period if you're still exercising. Case in point, finished, done, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Say that all the time, still don't know where it comes from. And long-term no period, what happens? You get osteoporosis like this biscuit right over here. So again, we don't know the price that we're paying in the moment. Arthritis in your joint, osteoporosis, pain when you walk, obsessive anxiety, regret of missing out on memories. What my therapist had me do was write down a pros and a cons list. What are the pros of keeping on exercising? What are the cons? And then I ended up realizing there were no pros, because the pros that I had convinced myself were pros, like I was like, it's healthy for my joints. No, because right now my joints are unhealthy, so it's still eroding them and it's breaking them down even further. So like, okay, fine. Next thing, I said it's healthy for my mind. No, it's not, because I'm relying on the exercise and it's causing so much anxiety when I don't exercise. It's only healthy for your mind if it's not compulsive and you don't obsessively need to do it. So everything I thought was a pro, it actually wasn't. It was a con. So what are the cons? No period, it rules your life, no social life, anxiety, isolation, obsessive compulsive thoughts. It keeps you in that purging mindset, meaning it's a food rule. It's a food rule because you think, I can eat this on a day that I exercise. So you'll always constantly be stuck in quasi-recovery, in your eating disorder. You'll never get out of it. Again, I know it's terrifying, and it's terrifying when you still don't trust what's on the bottom of the cliff. But I'm just telling you what is. And I told myself that the day that I quit, my body would balloon, it would go uncontrollably, just keep expanding. I didn't trust my body because I'd spent so many years punishing and torturing it. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very honest with you on this channel because honesty is the best policy. Scouts on it. Well, no, I wasn't a scout, so I don't think I can do that. But if I was a scout, it would be legit. So it was the hardest, honestly, the hardest month of my entire life stopping exercise. I cried nearly every single day. I didn't know how to deal with the emotion. I didn't know how to deal with the feel-good factor. My mom and sister work out every single day doing their circuit training with F45, and I would just watch and I would sulk with them. I would sulk, I would get moody, I'd be angry. I was just constantly just irritable. And that's a hump that you've got to get over. And the urge was so strong. In the beginning, some days I would cave and say, okay, I'm just going to do 10 minutes. I'm just going to do 15 minutes. But again, if you do that, then you'll have to do that the next day. And then you'll have to do it the day after. Quitting cold turkey is the only way to do it. And I'd always say I want to progressively stop. You know, I'll only do it twice a week, 3 times a week. Again, you've got to get your mindset to get used to not doing it at all, because otherwise you'll never fully recover. It will always be that little crutch in your life. And like I said, that month was the hardest month of my life. But you know what? I didn't balloon. I didn't lose control. Nothing crazy and scary happened to my body that I convinced myself it would. We always do worst case scenarios, but the urges were there. The urges were so severe that I had to lock away all the fitness equipment. I had to put away all my bands, put away all the kettlebells. I had to just put away my yoga mat. Just absolutely nothing that would allow me just to respond to those urges. Again, you've got to take away all the environmental cues. I would sob all the time. I just felt literally disgusted with myself. When I fell asleep at night, I felt uncomfortable in my body. And then But then when that first month went by, it got easier. It got easier and easier, and I realized I was freer. I didn't have to have these compulsions. It was difficult not doing it, but it wasn't an addiction anymore. Because again, you break free of that cycle and you start gaining new parts of your life back. But I always used to say I was the fit one, I was the healthy one, I was the sporty one, the active one. That was who I identified myself with. So when I stopped, I felt like I was letting go a part of myself that I was proud of. And my therapist would say to me, you're proud of being obsessed and addictive and vapid, and you're proud of just this one-dimensional personality. Your exercise habits, your exercise routine, your eating habits are the least interesting about you. Your eating disorder is the least interesting about yourself. And what you think makes you fun to people, what you think makes you special to people, actually does the complete opposite. And I know right now especially there are so many triggers in the environment, whether it was you go through your Instagram feed, whether you go on YouTube and you see every single influencer doing some sort of quick exercise routine. A little bit is still triggering and it's still holding onto that crutch, and until you let it fully go, I promise you, you will never get that freedom that you probably wish and pray for every single night. But the worst thing is, a lot of people ask me about how I stopped, how I can help them stop, if I have any words of advice. But I had doctors, I had my dietitian, I had my therapist, I had, again, qualified doctors and surgeons that looked at my bones saying to me, Jax, you cannot exercise anymore. But I didn't care. I didn't care who told me not to do it. I was still gonna do it. I was like, oh, I really don't care what you say. I'm gonna do it. Big mistake, big, huge mistake. But what that did teach me was that no one could tell me. It didn't matter what anyone said, what anyone told me, I was not going to stop until the day that I chose to do it. It has to be your decision to stop. You've got to know why you want to stop, and when you have those extreme urges, you've got to have that list that you write down. I write mine down over and over and over and over again. My therapist had me actually write down a list of coping mechanisms. So whether it was going on Zoom with a friend. So my brother is one of my favorite Zoom buddies because he can give two shits about exercise, and it's nice speaking about. Now the trick is, when you do Zoom with your friend, when you do Zoom with your family members, try not to talk about food, try not to talk about fitness, speak about everything else. Learn what else you might be interested in, whether it's pottery, whether it's sewing, whether it's podcasts. Now I do always have a podcast lined up, especially if my mind is going and going and going and going and going at 1,000 miles an hour, like literally Wacky Races style. If you watched Wacky Races, oh my god, if you guys watched Wacky Races as a kid, let me know in the comment section down below, because that was my favorite show. Oh my gosh, Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Love them. Love them. The second thing my therapist told me to do was unfollow all the fitness Instagram accounts that I followed, which was difficult because some of them I liked because of their personalities as well. But I had to do what was best for me in that moment and unfollow it all. There is a really good account that I'm going to put down below for you guys to follow when it comes to body positivity. I can share some of them with you if it helps. And again, it just helped keep me on track to realize that the world isn't full of these fitness Instagram influencers. When you only surround yourself with them, you think everyone's exercising, everyone's addicted to fitness and clean eating, but it's only because that's what you've surrounded yourself with. So surround yourself with the opposite, with the normal people, with the people that are free and have that lifestyle that you want. So I'm going to actually link a few down below, some of my favorite ones, and let me know what you think of them. Let me know if there are specific people that you love. And let's just share the positive accounts. Let's just share the positive influences with each other. I think that is the best thing we can do. Another thing, so my exercise always had to be like first thing in the morning. So with one thing that did help me as well with my exercise that I just want to leave you guys with is I used to wake up in the morning, first thing, just shower, put my makeup on, put normal clothes on. That way I couldn't do it. That way there was like absolutely no option of doing it. But if I woke up and I didn't wear makeup that day, or if I wore my yoga pants that day, I was gonna find a way to sneak something in. So take away all the urges, from the clothes you're wearing, to the shoes you're wearing, to what you have on your face, to what you have around you in your room. You've got to be as meticulous as possible, because those sneaky little thoughts are going to try and find a way. They're going to be like, I will find a way to sneak myself in. And then you've got to be like, actually, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. So guys, I know it is hard because I have fought tooth and nail. Like I said in the beginning, I will never forget how difficult that month was and how difficult it was dealing with the weight gain at the same time. But I did get these guys out of it. You know, I'm still gaining in my program. I've still got quite a bit to go, But these guys came along and I was like, huh, nice to meet you, you know? I haven't seen them for a while. Now they're back, you know? One of the pros. I mean, this isn't the only pro. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic because if you guys know me by now, you know I'm sarcastic. But I've been more present with friends and family. I'm happier most of the time. I'm not having these obsessive thoughts. I'm able to be spontaneous and in the moment. And I'm able to join in with celebrations, things that I always thought I'd never get the opportunity to do again. So there is a whole new life waiting for you on the other side of that cliff. You've just got to jump. And again, hold my hand, do it with me, because I'm doing this. I'm in the same boat as you guys. Trust me. So if you did like this video and if it was helpful, hit the like button down below. Share it with someone that maybe needs it. Let me know what advice you want for another video. And I'm going to see you guys very soon. Mwah. By the way, if you guys do want to see my lifestyle vlogs, my day in the life, what I do normally, what I'm up to, what this biscuit does in Dubai, then go over to my Confused Expat channel, because that is where I post more of my lifestyle content. You know, the new person I am today, the new life that I have, about the businesses that I own, what I eat during the day, because I know that can be triggering on this channel. So I post that over there, so go check that out. That is my favorite